Hello, everyone, and how's it going tonight? I am Sean, the host, and because Matt is not on, Malcolm joins us because Malcolm has decided he just loathes Matt in his PowerPoint. But Malcolm decided to join us or join me. We have no guest tonight. It's we've we're gonna have some station discussings about gaming and stay away from life events that are going on in the world.
Probably best to do that.
Probably the best, you know. But anyway, I want to go over some things real quick. We will have today's Malcolm, 27th to be determined. And on March 8th, we have Special Guest Initiative Zero, Palladium Rifts, which Matt's was one of our favorite games actually played, besides the Palladium system being what it is. And March 13th, we have Michael Wallace, new stuff for the Cult Divinity Lost. We have some other stuff coming up too, but Matt has the schedule, and Matt is actually under the weather. So
poor guy.
So he's got that cold that's going around that's like destroying everybody in the country that I got beginning of December, and only now I've finally gotten over. So I don't know how everybody else is dealing with that. So I was thinking about tonight, and we discussed. I'm gonna. Hey Malcolm, did you catch the live game we played, which was this game? That's enough of that. You were muted when that was going on, but that was our Eat the Right game. Did you catch any of that, Malcolm?
I only caught a very tiny bit of it, and it was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. We discussed a little bit last week. I wanted to say that because I think next Tuesday, I believe they're going to do the second part of that live because they're supposed to do 2 sessions, unless something changed. Now, some of the other options we have going on, I want to discuss with our. Come on up. Stop. I'm not as good as just jumping around. Oh, I just closed Discord.
It's okay.
I usually just do the typing, folks, and I make the comments and say hi, say hello. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, it just doesn't want to come off, apparently. Oh, there it goes. Some of the other things is we're going to do. March 4th, we have the Electric State Live. That'll be good. That'll be a good interview. We interviewed before, and great disturbing actually podcast. I recommend you listening to it. It's just the whole it's very interesting world to play. But some of the things we're looking at playing as a team here, or they're looking to play, because I'm committing to this, not Battle Lords, not Mommy Ship. You know how many channels we got in our Discord, Malcolm? I just realized we have too many.
We have a lot of channels in our Discord, and as a matter of fact, I was like, there was one. Well, yeah, there's just so many we have set up for games.
Yeah, also. But hey, Brindlewood Bay, that was one that came up, and I think you want to talk because you were going to run that, right?
I was going to run that. I sort of backed off, and now I'm going back to the idea of running it after looking it over, because we were thinking about maybe possibly getting Jackson Cordova to run it, but who is the who created the game, but we just can't work out the schedulings for that so far. But regardless, I was thinking about diving back into that, so I was going to talk to Matt and Nathan about putting it back on the docket as far as a possibility for running that.
And tell me about it. I'm going right to that. You got to explain it.
Okay. The best way to explain Brindlewood Bay was basically you have the players play a group of old ladies who are part of this sort of like mystery book club, and think of them as like every single one of them is like their own little either Miss Marple or Murder She Wrote little murders little woman who gets involved in local crime. So basically you're a group of elderly women involved in this sort of book club that also are called on occasionally to help the locals solve various crimes, and so it starts off with just I could just basically read you a very quick synopsis.
Go ahead. Go, please.
Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Oh, where's my tea?
So basically, Brentwood Bay is basically the setting is a small town and small coastal community in Massachusetts that did some whaling back in the day and so forth. And so the Mavens, which is what you're called, the murder Mavens, is the mystery book is the mystery book club that all of the ladies belong to. That's based on the top floor of the Candlelight Booksellers, and they meet every Saturday evening, for the last 10 years, and they basically have met there. They are, particularly fond of this, Golden Crown mysteries, which are written by some woman by name, Robin Masterson. So basically, the synopsis of the game is basically you play a group of elderly women, members of this murder mavens, mystery book club, that find themselves solving actual murder mysteries in their quaint little New England town. They become aware of a dark occult conspiracy connecting the murders, and will eventually have to defeat the dark conspiracy and save their community. The game is directly inspired by the television show like Murder, She Wrote, Murder, but also lots of other sort of like cozy little murder mystery mavens, which is like Miss Marple and so forth. And it takes also a lot of inspiration from some cosmic horror, American TV
stuff,
Cthulhu, and some American TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So as a matter of fact, even like it is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, which is going to be a lot of fun. And it's pretty simple. So and there's all these little moves that people have, and when you use the power of apocalypse, and things like you can basically actions you can take and when called upon in the course of the story. But it is a very cooperative story building thing, mostly on the players to build a lot of the things. There'll be presentation with crimes, with suspects, and so forth, and then we'll have to devise and search out and figure out how the time comes together.
That's cool. So you got Agatha versus Cthulhu going on. So.
Kind of like that, yeah. The series of and the thing is what's great is they have these moves, and older moves are pretty much named after like 80s and 70s and 90s because TV show male heroes.
So Matlock.
One of the Mavens, moves are like, the B.A. Baracus and the Frank Colombo, and I'll pull a Dale Cooper or Sonny Crockett, it's just,
Jesus.
It's just great.
That's
Thomas
awesome.
Magnum or
I
Angus,
would like Thomas Magnum.
or Angus, MacGyver. And these are like special moves that they can do. Like, I can find three things. And if I can convince the keeper, which is effectively the GM, that they can conceivably do something for me or make this, then that, the MacGyver thing can work. So it's really great and a lot of fun as far as the concept and an interesting sort of way. And I kind of, a part of me really would love to see, I'm curious to see this, various groups of players play old ladies in a small New England town and see how it all turns out.
Oh my God, I wouldn't know what to do. Tim will do it fine.
Because there's a lot of things. And there's, so there's a lot of, it's a lot of sort of just, improvising and going with what you see and sort of doing stuff. And it's going to be, I think it would be hilarious,
But what if they're in P-Town?
You're not going to be in P-Town. You're going to be Brindle Bay, the name of the actual place.
Okay. That young man's wearing no shirt. He's oiled up.
Does it mean it may come across them with some P-Town stuff? Who knows? I am right.
Why is there so much leather? I guess you have to. I'm not even going to reveal that. I want to see who picks that up down the road.
But it is. So I'm going to put that back on there and then see who can set up to be on that live. And but I'm still reading. I'm reading that now in the hopes of like if there is an agreed time and so forth that it can be launched. And I think I may also do it for my local group as well.
Well, you should. I think I think
curious to see how it would work out.
Yeah, you can always play Dragonbait again.
We could always trade Dragonbait again because after all, there is the whole entire path of glory.
No, yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'm afraid of water after Dragonbane. I don't even want to
You
get near water again.
that you should be. That is a game that you will face down, a mana core before you cross a cold fast running stream.
You could fight a dragon and have better luck of surviving as stepping in a puddle.
That's probably true.
It's probably true. So that's pretty cool. So some of the other things we were going to do is there's going to be a Walking Dead game, and we've talked about no ducks. Who's Carl? No ducks. We had a mallard actually, which is a very fancy name for a duck. But I'm not gonna. We've already talked about Walking Dead, I think, on here ad nauseum. So we're not gonna kill that. Bring on the old ladies.
Yeah,
we will.
Yeah,
we need to bring on the old tarts.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to see how we play because basically, I mean, come on, guys, we're not that far.
Oh my god, I'm taking a hiatus till the summer, so I might jump in for Walking Dead just because, depending if Tim runs it, because he might pick up. I want to play the Burned Man, so
yeah, I hope he will run it. I want to see where it goes.
Oh my god.
I wasn't able to play it before, and I was really interested in playing it.
That's a good system. It's pretty lethal.
Well, that's
unexpectedly.
Yeah, but Freak League can do a really good spin on any kind of story. So
it will be a baseball start. So the thing is like Tyr will probably play a sweet old lady who has some sort of dark secret. Tim will play it. Matt will play it like Darg. Hello, and Tim will be an impulsive old lady.
Well, you always have those. And the thing is, like, literally that would make up our group of, the impulsive one.
The impulsive one. Hello.
The impulsive. The one she I mean, she's physically still fit, but she's not too bright. Now, that'd be the Darg.
She drank her prune juice this morning. She's full of fiber.
Penelope Darg.
Yeah, Penelope Darg. That should be the character, actually. If Matt plays, is like you said, you have to name your character Penelope Darg. It is now canon. It's now canon. We've decided that.
So yeah, I'm curious to see who would come together and play that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I just need to read over it thoroughly and see if if they still where we'd fit it in the time base as far as how games would go. The thing is also, my thing is like, if I do take if I do this new job, I think that I want to see how it works out before I
I don't know what hours your job will have. Obviously.
So we'll see how that works out and how.
You could become independently wealthy. That would be nice.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I just don't do enough lotto tickets. Okay.
Yeah, I got you. No, I think so. I would argue the next thing I wanted to touch on is like live versus recorded, because we've done some live games. I don't know what you prefer. I always prefer live. Recorded.
It's kind of really weird. I think a part of me likes the comfort of recording, of knowing that we can sort of go back and cut this, hide or just come across as more concise in our playing instead of a lot of stop time. So I like that. And there's obviously we can make slurs be inappropriate or whatever, but that's also a part of that's also one of the perks to being live. But I think I take comfort in that, but I like the easy, fast flow of a live game.
Yeah,
even though I hate to admit it.
Yeah, well, I think it makes us speed up a little bit, but I think one of the problems we have, because I noticed with the live game, there was only 3 players in Nathan, right? Which is low for us, amazingly low.
Amazingly low. And that's the thing is,
I
think we have to keep it low so that we can be good on our speed. Time.
I think that's a big piece of it, because our live games, like, I could literally sit there. All right, man, take care. Who's Carl? I know you got stuff going on.
Take care.
All right, and but I think when we do live games, like I could sit a whole session and say nothing sometimes, depending on where the story's going. That's any one of us, by the way, who played like in Dragonbane. There are nights I said nothing, and Nathan was shocked. Like, why? I said there was nothing for me to say.
Yeah.
I said you guys had people doing stuff, and like if Tyr was doing that because Dane was doing something, like very. Why am I going to interfere with that?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like we're playing sex, drugs, and saving throws, where it's like we're supposed to be freaking stepping on each other.
Yes, stomping and everything else, and that really works. And the thing is, what's funny is that really works well with a lot of the timing and as far as the nature of that show. with us sort of just stomping and spilling into other conversations, because that's how real conversations or dialogue goes more often. And it seems a lot more fun to do that, and a lot more improvisation. But the live show, you get a lot more improvisation at times. Well, actually, we do. Our shows are pretty much improvisation all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of just time. Like I said, like you said that before, you can go through a whole show and not say anything. And with a live show, we really can't as much. We don't want to do that as often that too much. And with a smaller cast, you can probably get everybody involved in almost every action that's going on.
Yeah. I know I think some people are better at improv than others, running with it, and some people want more structure. I know I saw Nathan struggling initially in this because that system's so different than what we used to. There's a lot of like you drop in a building and an action happens. There's not as much roles and things like that, for lack of better words. Because I listened to a bit like live, and and it's sort of like it's. I want to bring this up because I loved if you've been on last week. So we had Andrew Park on last night. He was last week. We was discussing Dragonheart, and he's he does some other things too, but he doesn't do initiative. And and what he does is like they just go, and it's sort of like based on what's going on, which I thought was pretty neat. Because the idea, we always sort of had some cards or something, remember?
Yeah, but mostly we've got a lot of systems that have that. But like that's one thing that's also about Brindlewood Bay. It's going to be that. It's going to be there's no initiative. It's what's happening determines.
Yeah.
Someone says I'm going to do something, and that's how we do. That's how it's going to sort of play out. And it's going to be interesting with that. That's what I'm saying. Not only will it, as the game will seem, the game, concept and the genre and theme seems a lot of fun. I think the way that the mechanics work will be something interesting to see what this group does, because there is, a lot of the onus will be on the players to react and see the situation and the information given them and build a story on that. We're having basically a conversation, and then if something needs to be resolved or needs to be dealt with, then there's a move and a roll done then. And then it's a matter of us interpreting, or the keeper interpreting, how that success or failure or partial failure with complications sort of manifest. And then it's the players telling me how they're going to deal with it and what they're doing. So a lot of it is there's not going to be any initiative in this one. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we process that.
I think we would do pretty good. I think it'd be a little bit of chaos at first.
Yeah, but that's that's also part of it,
Yeah. No, I'll be all Nathan going, I'm walk in. Yeah, just like what? Every turn. Like
it's gonna be something
till he dies. Till he has like,
till he retires.
Till he's retired. Is she retired recently? We're gonna go see her down at the memorial. What? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was. I mean, the way he explained it was just to me, just the way he explained it sort of blew my mind. Like, holy crap, I don't even know how I would deal with that because it was so new. I think I know how I would handle it. But I guess it would be how the scene set. The scene would have to be sort of set, or it'd be a little chaotic. I think
so too. But I still like, for instance, I'm still like, that's the thing about this game is I'm gonna have to go over it in detail before I can run it, because, like I said. You said that. Even though I said, there's no initiative, I still have to think. Malcolm has to think, how do I conceivably let that play out? How do I create a scene, situate, and then be able to react? Because also, this is a thing that sort of has also this sort of like TV show undercurrent where I can just cut away for a scene and come back, to you.
Yeah, there you
go. Pivot moment is a way I think it's going to have to work. But I'm like, it's not always that easy, and I think that constantly, I think this is gonna be one of those games that are gonna have to constantly be on my toes, because so
is this a game like you level or something where you just have a set of scats that go up, or
there are advancements, and then they will go for adventure, depending on how we do this one. I would probably suggest that we do a live, obviously with the first mystery, and then depending on how it goes, set up, get ready for the next one. It doesn't have to be immediate, but we can, do something else in between and then come back to another mystery later on. But, to give me time to figure it out.
Hold it, guys. You're just going to do a lot of ad lib. That's all to walk.
There will be a lot. Yeah, there will be a lot of ad lib. That's actually an integral part to this. And like, for instance, I mean, I just want to say that, like, for instance, even the murders and the mystery, they're not set. There's nothing that's canon as far as how it's supposed to go.
Based except the name of Darg, Abigail Darg. That is canon.
Except for Abigail Darg or Penelope Darg or whoever Miss Darg is.
Oh, Penelope. Yeah,
old Lady Darg.
Old Lady D. That's it.
But except for that. But yeah, for instance, you're given the clues. You're given that you'll encounter suspects, and then there'll be a time where basically the players all come together, and the old mavens theorize what they think happened, and we will see if that's the crime or not, or maybe it is.
No, that would be interesting. It would be interesting. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to playing it. I'm going to see how the Eat the Reich ends. I only watched like 20 minutes of. I only watched like 30 minutes of that,
but it was still funny, hilarious. That's the thing is, I only watched a little bit, and I was like, "This is hilarious," and it was interesting to see how the mechanics worked out.
There's like, funny. Yeah, Matt drops through a window. He lands on the piano. He takes the piano out, wraps around, pulls on him, and eats a guy. I'm like, that's it. That's really that quick, huh? Okay, we're right to it.
Right to it.
Yeah. Oh yes. So it'd be great for Matt to cut away to your Adequate store for a commercial break. You've heard about the Adequate shirts, right?
No.
So we had, God, who do we have on? I have to actually pull up the.
Wait, did he? I think he mentioned that on something. An Adequate shirt.
Was it Joel from Acid Steel, or it might have been Clash of Crits? Oh no, it might have been Clash of
Crits. I think it was Clash.
So they were on. They were talking about their merch, and I said, "Yeah, I ordered a shirt. It was just merely adequate because it didn't fit me right. I was ragging on it, and I kept saying because Darcy goes, "Well, the hoodies are great." I said, "Well, except our hoodies are awesome." And I said, in our merch, but Matt said, adequate. He started laughing. He's like, that's not a selling point for our stuff. I go, I'm just saying, man, order a size bigger because XLs fit me. That one XL's just a large on me because I ordered my artwork from Dragon Bay and I still have it, but the shirt was just too small. And I'm like, listen, I'm not that fat. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think the shirt that I got. Well, I don't want to talk about that, but I don't want to further
so we have
the adequate situation.
We have adequate we have adequate at the AARPG.com. We have adequate stuff, and you can do our YouTube at the AARPGS to see our stuff. But we have adequate attire, folks. But actually, our mugs are good, and our actually some of the clothes are good. I just got a T-shirt, and I know we we're not pros at this, guys.
Yeah, I think
we'll figure it out. Malcolm's
we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And I think, I also not sure where it's also depending on where you order the shirt from, also, I think. Because I got some from
yeah, you're right.
Redbubble. And I should have gotten Redbubble, I ordered certain types of shirt from them that are really good. And they have a different variety of shirts. Wow.
Yeah. It depends. I got a good polo shirt from them. I got a good ball cap. My mug's nice. It has a Baylor on it. It's some good stuff. But yeah, I made the joke, and now it's going to last forever. We're always going to have adequate. I'm always going to say adequate attire. I'm always going to say adequate. It's just what I don't know what I've done. I didn't mean to do it, but now I've started it. But so we I don't know. I just don't know what the future holds for our podcast besides Renderwood Bay.
Well, I mean, I think we are also going to probably revisit some older themes.
No, we're not. I've given up. I mean, we haven't played Aliens yet. We haven't played Aliens. We haven't played
Well, for Aliens, I think we should wait because I really want to get into this new Kickstarter that's coming out for the revised and sort of updated version of it.
Okay, that's fair.
So you want to see how the rules have changed, and you want to get into that. So I'm fine with holding off to see what has to be converted
because Tyr could run it.
Yeah, Tyr can run it.
I'd rather have Tyr play though, because when he played a maniac character, it was hilarious in Aliens. Though the story does a great job. The story, but by the way, a friend of ours, who's very close to us, who had his chest cracked a few days ago and he had an overpass put in, not a bypass. He had an overpass put in. Is doing fine.
Is that the term?
Yeah, I'm going to use overpass because he's from Jersey. So it's he had an overpass put in, and but he's doing fine. I'll let him make the announcement when he comes on. But You know, it was a shock to us all, to him
And to him.
included. And to him, he's like, "What?" You say, "You gotta we gotta crack your chest." And they literally do crack your chest, folks. I don't know how else to tell you that. But you're not conscious, but you wake up, man, and you're sore.
That's a comfort, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I could get into detail on what it looks like. I've seen it, but I don't think you think we change the whole tone of this show to medical.
I'm sorry, no, let's not do that, because
it's not like
here's the worst part is, like, I completely jumped to a completely wrong visual.
Oh, really?
It's like every time someone says crack their chest, I think of that scene from Thing where he's trying to use the defibrillator.
Oh yeah, he puts his hands to the guy's chest.
I also have that flash when I'm watching, of all things, was it National Lampoon's Vacation Holiday, their holiday vacation?
Oh yeah,
with that dry turkey.
Sex?
No, this is the one. This is the
the turkey
Christmas, the Christmas, and the turkey just sort of, and I just had that same thing.
Dude, the thing, people like the original Thing. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's an amazing movie, and it's just for a time that it was amazing, and the special effects hold up with it.
It's really good, and
they did a good job, and you can still enjoy it. And it's just, you're like, what the fuck? It's the first type of movie where you're like, what the fuck are they fighting? Oh my god, this is crazy.
That was a really good story that built fear and paranoia of every cast member of one another, as we had this sort of invasive thing pretending to be they could mimic them. And I think that's one thing that's very hard to do in role-playing games.
Yeah, in the sequel, the girl figured it out too quick. Like, your dentures or something, an earring was missing or something, like the filling was missing in a tooth. She got really smart at it. I'm going, let me get this straight.
No, that's the prequel.
That's the prequel. That's right. So she was super smart.
Yeah, but didn't help.
But it didn't help at the end of the day. And even today, Kurt Russell's character, like, he's with the other guy, and they're like, the thought is,
this?
No, I'm going to spoil it because somebody's Wikipedia in it right now. They're lazy. They're lazy generation.
You know how old this movie is, so it's pretty fine.
Yeah. So, but what happens at the end? He's talking to one of the other characters, and they're deciding who's who. Now, we all know Kurt Russell's character is not the Thing because he's got the flamethrower. But it's the other guy, and the theory is the guy he was talked to was actually an alien, and he just stayed there till the alien froze and died, and then he died. That's the theory. They said that the horror was he was right. He was absolutely, because and then you're like, dude, you guys could get away together. No, actually, Kurt Russell's character was right. The guy was an alien, and he had to stay there and die with him. He made the conscious choice, like, I'm going to sit there till you freeze, and he sat there, and they just kept an eye on each other. But there's so many good movies from the 80s and 70s and 80s horror movies, that are just, they don't have all the sci-fi stuff, but the stories are amazing.
Yeah, they don't have all the special effects, but amazing stories. And the sad part is, rarely do they, when they try and remake these movies, are they able to catch that essence.
No,
what was important about that movie? That was the essence, the things that because it's like it's kind of, in a way, I feel kind of like a great disservice is done to the next generation, so that they have their own movies, which they truly revere. They don't have to necessarily even be remakes. They can just be movies that really take that same. A lot of movies. Okay, let me rephrase that. Some movies have done it. Some movies have that same sort of chord and have done a really good job as far as bringing those things that they will retain for generations, as thinking that's a great movie in horror, or at least not generations, but for years and decades to come. I just think that we had a lot. We were lucky.
Yeah.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, yet another one.
Yeah, the original 50s ones, they win, but it was also during the Red Scare, which is funny. So the U.S. government wins. So there's sort of a backstory to that.
That was propaganda.
There's a little bit of propaganda, but when it was remade by Donald Sutherland in the 70s, he gets taken. Like she comes up to me, he starts pointing and screaming at her, which is the real story. Is like, you can't win. Some things but the 60s and 70s were great for that apocalyptic horror, where, like, no matter what you fucking do, the world's gonna, like, Soylent Green is made out of people. Charlton Heston, B-level. which was fun, good stuff, man. It's like,
it's
but
tough, and I think that we hopefully will. I mean, I think we're going to come. People are
we're going full
trying to do
circle.
versions of
We're
those
back.
things.
We're
We're
getting
back.
back to it. We're
We're
back.
getting back, and I think we'll have we'll have some good things that will be done. I just hope that we will learn from them. We will, and we will retain the message from them more heartily and be more wary about how they are, and not just simply just pull it down to it was a fun movie. And we have so many of those. We have so many, bread and circus movies as it is.
Yes,
That,
like,
literally, there's literally we have in too many ways to receive your bread and circus. So he's like they're
like Marvel
basically
movies. That's what that all is.
Your break, those have all become that. They weren't telling us, they stopped, you just gets to a point where you're basically just, we're going to blow up this stuff, really big spectacular, and do this stuff. Does it have to have a meaning? No, not really. We don't really care.
No.
Our story's convoluted. And because, people will say, and I even say it sometimes, and I will continue saying, it's like, yeah, you have so many people, too many pots too many cooks in the kitchen with those things. You do. And the thing is, they don't need to learn. The thing is, the problem is those studios don't need to learn a lesson because they're still making hand over fist money for them. So why make a better movie? Why be A24 when I can be just crappy whatever and get it out there?
It's interesting. Some of the like Marvel shows were actually better than
some
of the recent movies. Like Loki. Loki was amazing
because there's less, like I said, less hands messing with it. And it's kind of like it's kind of sad, but it's like you if you just stop. It's like, there's also the other part of this video of the Star Wars. It was like you have more misses than hits because they're just doing either
too many hands
too much
pot.
Too many hands in the pots, too much fan service. I remember when it was a series, Ahsoka, and I was
Ahsoka,
I was like, Ahsoka getting a series is, I personally like the character.
Oh,
then
good character.
Then I watched like 15 different shows and know who the heck she is. But if I just turn it on and I saw the show, you have no clue who she is. Like, that's the thing, is they couldn't, like, Andor stands all by itself without even needing Rogue One.
No, Andor
a story about about the right, about the building of a rebel hero.
That's a Cloak and Dagger show, right?
That is a good Cloak and Dagger. They chose to go with a good Cloak and Dagger show. Just like, for instance, was it Skeleton Crew? Went with a really good sort of Goonies and Star Wars show. It's what it was doing first. It was doing Goonies, and then it was doing Star Wars. And it happens in Star Wars universe. And so it's a really good kids sort of adventure with danger and pirates. And so it's all those, it does all those
things. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it does a really good story. But you don't need to know anything about the whole greater story of Star Wars to watch, enjoy, and get the message out of that show. Same thing with Andor.
I'm hoping with the next Star Wars, Star Trek movie, because it's not going to have J.J. Abrams like in super, and
we'll see.
But it'll be like a different thing, because it's going to go. I think that's going to be last Chris Pine movie, because I think they're just doing another movie to close it out.
I think they may have been contractually expected to do this, and
the one actor got Anthony, whatever his name is, who got sadly died in a weird, messed up accident.
Who played the Chekhov?
Yeah, great actor. And what happened was, he lived out in California. I'm gonna tell the story because it needs to be told. Put your emergency brake on. But he went to shut his garage door and his car drifted back, or it came out of gear, and he got pinned. And he basically just got pinned and died there. I imagine the weight just made it hard for him to breathe, and he couldn't breathe anymore, which is horrible. This guy just sat it's like death by misadventure, totally death by misadventure. Well, how is this happening to me? It's like the guy rock climber they made a movie about who cut his own arm off. He's like, how he just expert rock climber. How's this happening? I have to cut my own arm off with a butter knife or something. This is crazy. He got to be made a movie out of it, and he survived. But it's just like, how do I explain how people I lost my arm? Yeah, I was climbing and I got stuck. It's like one of those weird, crazy things that happened.
His was a really unfortunate death, and it was just and he was I really like that actor a lot.
Oh yeah,
I wish I could remember his name right now, but I'm not going to Google.
But he was very, very diverse. He was in quite a few things.
Oh yeah, I loved him in Odd Thomas. I'm talking about but anyway, so like for instance, as far as for movies,
Anton Yelchin.
yeah,
Anton
that's it.
Yelchin.
Mhm. And it's like, for instance, I mean, you had some really good movies, from A24 Studio does a really good job. They have some really good movies
Now,
consistently.
I think go, and I'm waiting for the next D&D movie with Chris Pine because I enjoyed the shit out of that. Actually,
That was a lot of fun.
that was a lot of fun.
I don't know I know they're supposed to have another one. I don't know if they're going to have them in it. And that's the thing is like,
He should be in it because he can
okay.
actually sing and act. He's
I'm
an
like,
actual
okay,
singer.
if you're going to go somewhere else, you have to have a strong, you have to have just as fun of a story. And that was a thing where basically you didn't need to play D&D.
Yeah.
You didn't need to know the story.
Didn't
need the story of of Forgotten Realms at all. You just needed to there was enough exposition in the story to get you all you needed to go and to just enjoy it and have fun.
We know what we should play Warhammer 40K just to walk around and go, brother, kill everything. It's heresy.
We can literally play a horrible version of The Name of the Rose and GURPS and just go over there.
Yes, pretty much. We could play that.
The
Inquisition is here. So we're at the point in the podcast where usually Matt does this, but I'm going to do it because that's the type of guy I am. I'm going to share this better, and I'm going to try to do this
classy like.
No, it's not the one I want.
I'm just going to have it.
This is the one I want. Aha! Ta-da! Look at that, man. I am impressive today.
That is.
So this is our website. See that beautiful guy right there in the beginning front? That is Baylor Banefire. I don't know how I got placed in the front by that, but
you're
I'll
short. We're the short ones were put
I'm
up
bigger
front,
than this
literally.
thing. This
that's a half. Like that's
the traitor. The traitor, as we call it. The traitor.
We don't call her that.
Well, Baylor is like Baylor. You see, it's the thing. If we do play,
you are taller.
We have to find it, Kieran. We have to.
You can't give away spoilers for a season
that's right. We have to find. No, I'm joking around. No trading here. No trading. So
what's that?
We got episodes. We got cat. Look at this. Look at this beautiful. I just can't get away from it. Here's the store. There he is. Here's the store. Here is our adequate shirts. I just wanted to see. There's mine. That's the Corgan Dragonbane t-shirt. Absorbs more blood. See, our mugs are great. We should get the art on white mug. I think it would look better. I'm going to say that now.
I don't know. Well, for somebody,
it would. I have one of these.
Yeah, me too.
I also have one of these. The
mugs get me more glasses, though.
Yeah, we do. But the hats are pretty good. The polo shirts. I have this right here. I actually have this mouse pad. Works really good. I've had it since we did the first episode. So if you're looking for some little stuff, I love the art. I love Jody's art too. It's really good.
Get that sweatshirt.
Yeah. Well, Darcy has it. And it's great.
Yeah, if Darcy again, I'm like, that's enough endorsement for me to go get it.
Yeah, it's like every time, like, it's a great sweatshirt. I'm like, I believe you. But that's our stuff. So that's our merch. Now, some of the things we're doing, we've talked about, like we've talked about Brindlewood Bay. And we're going to revisit some of our classics, like the real quick. We want to do Twilight again. And we want to do Aliens again. But the summer is going to be more of a live thing. And we're just going to try and soak that up because, and I truly mean this, man. I can spend the next 5 years playing live, and I think we'd still have episodes. I'm joking, but I'm not, because we have so much banked up of good quality stuff banked up.
I think editing takes time, so I think the live shows give us that breathing room to sort of get somebody, to still be able to connect with the people who are watching and get them still out there. Yeah.
So is there anything you think like I've seen this like we had the crap? What was it? I already forgot because my memory doesn't work anymore because I'm old. The Daggerheart. That's the roll 20 people. Now that's that game you might want to look at because that actually is supposed to be made for. Looks like it's made for live streaming, like playing podcasting. Something we might want to look at because it's set up a little differently. Matt, if you get a chance, watch last episode because the whole thing is set up. It's very simple. But it's something you might want to try. I thought it was interesting. I thought the whole the setup was interesting. You have like the skills are laid out. You spend points. It's all like based on benchmarking, I call it, versus points. When you hit a certain point, like you like to do, we raise a level and stuff. But take a look at it, because I'm not going to pull it up and rehash it, but it was okay. The Electric State would be interesting. Having seen it being played, I don't know how we would play it, because the people who played it, those good podcasters who play the Electric State, I think we would be an aberration of what they would do, because they do much more seriously. We would be totally different. And Maya, I screw her name up, so I'm so bad with names.
I think it's Mia.
Yeah, but she is great, great guest, and I listened to her run and how she set up. I thought was amazing, and I truly mean that. But we're going to do the Electric State. What do you think about the Electric State? You understand the whole world. What do you think of it? I
only have a slightly. I only have a grasp of partial of the world. Of course, again, I want to go back and reread it. I like the concept. I like the idea, and it does seem rather unique. I was a fan of the book as far as some of the artwork that was coming out before it became an actual game with the artists. Just the same thing that happened with with Tales of Loop. I was into that, and then I watched the show and everything else, and was really into that. I think Electric State will be a very interesting universe to play in. I'm curious how we'll play.
Yeah, it's because it's that dystopian, and we go back to what's old is new, because I want to say Mad Max X, because the world's running down, but Mad Max was like fucking punk rock, the world running down, because there's fucking bikers.
There's a speed at which it runs down.
Oh yeah, so
this seems much slower.
Where the Electric State,
slower slide.
There's nothing good on the horizon, and you're just making do, and all the decisions sort of are either just adequate, okay, or just not good. And it's like, wow, like that. It's like the purgatory of the end of times. It's like the slow grind down where you're just like, oh, this is it. And, which, me being a lover of zombie apocalypse movies and like action horror ending to the world fighting would be like, that would be hell for me. Like, so that would be,
it is slow, because it's not like, it's not like a zombie apocalypse. It's not like, other, literally like a lot of the Morkborg products are like, the world is dying, or the sun, the universe is imploding.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that same thing, but it happens it almost seems to be at a slower pace than that.
Oh, this is
because those games are brutal and fast as far as what happens, even though the universe is slow, may or slowly or fast, quickly dying. But in that game, it's much slower, and you have to sort of, you have time to contemplate your doom.
The great the visual I got out of the session of Electric State is, and she set up, they were driving somewhere, and they just pull up on a construction site where everybody's had that headset on, and they're there just into the world. They just quit,
just zone,
and just right there in the middle of the road. And I'm listening to this, and in my car, because I started with the last episode to see where it ended. I never did this before, and it's like I saw the ending. It's like a Guy Ritchie movie. You see the ending, and then you're watching everything that leads up to it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm listening. I'm trying to put myself in a frame of mind like, you just said fuck it and just sat there, and you're just going to die there on the road in the TV. Your head's stuck into a VR virtual world, because you just gave the fuck up. And I'm thinking, man, that's pretty heavy. And then to try and play that as a character, because me find vampires are coming, it's the aliens, it's the fucking zombies. It's like, I got something to fight. Like, how do you fight that? You can't fight
the slow drain. And it's also then you're like, do I feel? A part of it says we should be justified in sort of saying, no, don't do that. But a part of it, is like, we don't know what, considering what people do. And when you tell them there's no hope out there, it's like, well, why don't I just slide out, without even having to worry about it. The virtual exit into oblivion is going to be tempting to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Why not leave in bliss, even though the world is not?
Yeah. And I don't know who's running the Electric State, but I'd play the shit out of that angle. Like, if everybody like, hey, just put the headset on. That's what you want.
I think Matt is going to be running it. I think that's going to be the interesting thing is having a character who's going to, I see
Matt will muscle you
one
into
character I have. Yeah.
Matt's like, remember, he's the one that'll push your character into something, because he'll use the Dex Ex match and all of Matt's hammer to push you into something as a character.
No.
Yeah.
maybe, but I think it'll be very
No,
interesting.
no, he will. He will. Yeah, I'm jokingly about that, but remember, he's the one that like taught me to keep my character in the game. I was going to change characters just to mix it up, and then he goes,
Yeah.
"Then my character what?" So we were playing Rifts, and I had one of the lead characters, and I forgot I was like a kingpin, a linchpin for something. And I just wanted to play a different character for a little while, just to break it up. And he goes, "No, no, play." So I played, and my character got kidnapped and replaced by a doppelganger who almost killed the whole party. I thought that was fun to play the bad guy. And that was new to me. I enjoyed that though. But then he got back, he'd lost an eye, been beat up and like, horribly tortured. And I was like, oh, thanks a lot, Matt. But I didn't get to play my other character while my character was out being tortured and as a losing his eye. That was the best
See,
part.
you
So
still
I
got
got what I
what you
sort
wanted,
of.
but it just didn't. Yeah.
It's sort of like the
So
electric state. You get what you want. It's just not what you want.
yeah, so I think it should be interesting to try the electric state and play that out. And hopefully, we'll do that. One game I think we will probably not do is going to be Blade Runner.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's because Tony wanted to run that. And he's our friend Tony, who's a great gamer, but he's got a lot going on. He's like
Yeah.
basically has
Yeah.
working. Yeah.
I mean, I played it. I loved it.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
Loved it. But it is a small group. Like literally, you're talking, 4. I mean, I think what do we have? Was there 4 of us? I think our first game was 3 players and a referee, and then the second was 4, and that
Oh,
was
wow.
literally pushing the envelope as far as that. But it was as far as that because it's basically just a small investigative team.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Blade Runner's like a small.
It's an investigative
I
mechanic
mean,
process.
I don't
And
think
it's
you have more three characters interacting on the screen at one time in that whole.
no, you
Yeah.
don't. In the movies you don't, and so in the show you don't. And it's a matter of just resources you can get from the precinct and so forth, and how you have to basically break on your time as far as who's going to do what. It is one of those games where if you don't split the party, you're doomed. You split the party, you go do like I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go run this guy down. I'm going to go do surveillance here. I'm going to go check and question this witness, and everyone needs to do it so we can give the evidence in enough time to sort of build a case on and start building pieces on it. So I don't see that being a game that this group is going to do. The other thing, but the other side is though, it's coming out is going to be the Replicant Rebellion.
Oh yeah,
which is more, I think, what this group can handle as far as how it would play out with a larger group of players. The missions are more obviously are more random and not requiring procedural follow-up. If we're going to just try and steal fuel from this particular position or crash this database to eliminate all the identities of these particular replicants in the system, and then you move or something, that's going to require a different group. That's going to be more like it's going to come across more like your
I think more like an aliens group. It's more of
an aliens group. It's going to be definitely a lot more action.
Yeah.
More action. Well, no, I'll be perfectly honest. I would not say the Blade Runner thing did not have action. Oh my gosh, we did. It's just you didn't want to. Like a lot of free league, like a lot of free league games, you don't want it to get into action. You want to keep it as nice as that. But I think
go too far.
It'll be more like now I'm forgetting the name of it. Like goodness, more like a Cyberpunk or more like a oh my goodness, with the magic. What is that game called?
Shadowrun
sort of group or team. Where you're that's going to be more like what it is. And I think that will be more conducive to our particular group as far as size and as far as temperament. I mean, while I think like with Blade Runner, I would have complete utter confidence with you and Matt having the ability to go through a procedural system of saying, nope, we need to put these resources here. We got to use that. We'll pull that. Let me look at this crime scene. I got this and got this and got this off the thing. We need to do this. While I see the rest, like Nathan would just be an utter disaster in that situation.
Yeah, this is but I want to go do this. I'm going to go into this room and do this. Like,
I'm going to go this, and it's like we needed you to cover that guy to see if they were leaving that place, and you couldn't. So I mean, not a riff on people. Not a riff on people, but I think it would be. I think our playing styles would not work for everybody to be in that game. So I don't see us playing Blade Runner, but I do see us playing the Replicant Rebellion once that comes out, and I think it's coming out in. I think they start shipping in March, maybe. I think I delayed, but it'll be March. And the one thing I like. I mean, one thing about the Blade Runner game is the assets for it have been really interesting. Like we literally had pictures of all our suspects. We had pictures of the crime scene that we had to go through and pick through. And if we picked out something, we would go and get it. We had, of course, maps of the particular areas. We had, you had, of course, your timesheets. It was all kind of really all laid out there. And it's a lot, but it's a lot of, but it's crazy fun. It's weird. I mean, like this is something I would not want to do ever, but I would do in this game. So, it was nice.
No, it sounds good. No, it's I think we'll see. I mean, I think our group's at like that'll be sort of trying to do some different things.
That's gonna be 25. That's 20, 26, 27 stuff.
I know, Jesus. Yeah, that's down the road.
Down the road.
When everything's gravy, it's like it's happy times again, and the world is shiny, and there's no more wars and inflation, and and we have leadership in the world, and I'll be dead. I'm going to be dead. I'm going to be dead. I'm sorry. I'll be gone by then.
Yeah.
My head will explode by then. Anyway, I just wish the very best for everybody. But I think
there's one thing we don't talk about, but I think I haven't explored them enough. Has been solo games. I don't know if any. I mean, like I literally have a bunch. I've been, I've literally I had
one-shot wonders.
No, like literally like these whole entire sort of like solo games, like this is like Escape from Post-Rude World, Ports Rude.
So one person plays and one person runs. You're saying
no? Oh, you play it's like choose your own adventure kind of thing almost.
Oh my god!
And that's in a very sophisticated level. Like now this one is really interesting. The 1,000-Year Vampire, which I mean, it's first of all, it's beautiful. A beautiful piece to do, but it's interesting when you play this old vampire, you go through these various encounters and they build up, and you have to give up key memories and fill new ones, and it's really, really super interesting on the choices you make and what you do, and it's really a good one. And what I've been recently given to by a friend of mine is the Exclusion Zone. This is a very short, quick one, Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of I've seen a lot of role-playing games.
I thought you said gelato, like on gelato.
And gelato. I've seen a lot of role-playing games come out with solo play options in them, or methods for solo play. And I was like, we don't really talk about it because most of us we're in groups. We're in gaming groups. We're in a gaming group on the show. And I was just like, I think it would be interesting to talk to somebody about those in the future, just like even either someone who develops them but like what is, I mean, I'm assuming the same situation, the same draw is that you like to play role play games, you love the overall adventure, but like if I don't have the time for a group, or for instance I just or if I'm just like for instance if I have something that some place where I don't really have access to people but I wanted to do it, it will keep my mind occupied just like a good book, but therefore have a different or much more interesting scenario, because I
don't know how that would go live. I'm going to read
that's something that I can't see going live.
It's like
that's not a live game ever.
It sounds like NPR gaming. It's like, hello everybody. It's Sean here. Welcome to on page 1. I'm
the Exclusion Zone.
The Exclusion Zone. My character, a 3,000-year-old vampire with a hair lip, is walking in like, what the fuck? All right. I think I'm looking forward to some things. I am looking forward to hopefully playing like some of the, as I call our legacy games again someday. Yeah, but we will see. We will see. Now, is there anything in particular you want to play in the future, Malcolm, besides Brentwood Bay?
Besides Brentwood Bay, as far as something in the future, I probably won't end up playing, and I'm going to end up running it, and that would be, I'll probably end up running a Supers.
Oh, I didn't want to bring it up because it's
it's a very, I think it's
Infamous Heroes.
It's Infamous Heroes superhero game in Savage World, only because superheroes are kind of, there's always, I'm not sure how how much of a appeal there will be, but we'll see how things go. And as far as other genres happen, either that or a game that I've run before a bunch of times for different groups of players, and I'm curious. I would run it again. which was I just called it Sugarland, which was about this sort of
Sugar in the land.
Sort of magical conspiracy that's happening to a rather average town in Montana. Small town in Montana gets impacted by some strange going on that leads to a huge mess. But it's like it sounds pretty much like Brindle Bay, but except for you're just townspeople.
I know that sounds pretty cool.
They're regular town people, and last time it was the I think it was the Centennial Square, Centennial Square of Business Owners Association against the supernatural forces. So it was pretty hilarious. And and previously it was just a couple of ranchers who were trying to stop it. So it was just
the old Johnson Square HOA is a cult of Cthulhu. Apparently, we must fight them, my friends. Yes.
It was a very interesting and it was a lot of fun to play that game, and I would be curious to try and run that. But and the thing is, right now, for my local group, I am working on something I did, which was pretty interesting. If we have time to talk about it.
No, we got a few. Go ahead, man. Just you get off your chest, please.
So basically,
I'm here for you.
I wanted to try and experiment as far as world building. You know what a world builder I am. I do all the details and everything and build it out, everything else. And I thought, and build the core concepts and do all this stuff. And I thought, this time, because I've been trying with this group to try and sort of back off. And this time I said, you know what? I am going to we use the system. It's a game that actually it's a sort of history building game called Microscope. And I said, we're going to build the history for this game universe and so forth. And it starts off with, you have a list of things with you have two bookends. Like it's going to be here's the start of this timeline, and here's where it ends, which would be the start where the game starts. And then it was just like, and here's a list of things that are going to happen in the game that are in the game universe that could be in the game universe. And here's those things that cannot be in the game universe at all.
Okay. And
then you pass it around. You pass around the sort of power of storytelling to a player. They start off with an event or some particular thing, and it's built off on, and people go on around the whole entire table. And we did this for every player. And it was quite an extensive timeline.
Oh,
it has a lot more things than I wouldn't, a lot more things in the universe that I probably wouldn't have put into. And the thing is, the campaign premise is that it's basically supposed to be like another, you remember my mobile suit game.
Yeah, of course.
Sort of that same sort of feel. And I didn't really stress that enough, I guess. So I'm dealing with magic and mushroom wizards and all kinds of stuff.
So I like the idea you have some certain, this is a thought. So you roll some events that's got to happen. And like you have a percentage dice that it just goes up and you just don't tell everybody. So you randomly every day, every time before you start, you go, okay, now we're up to 15. Okay. Oh, now we're up to 20. Oh, it's going to happen somehow. And you just have it happen. You just have to plug it in like a meteor strike. Like, okay, you guys are doing this and this and boom, a meteor hits or something like that. Like, and people like, what the hell is this? It's random chaos. It's part of the world I made. You get to fight during an extinction event.
That'd be interesting. And that was one thing I did. Here's the funny thing is like with this group, I've been trying to I've been experimenting with this world, but like one time, like for a space game, all I did was build the scaffolding. Like I didn't plan any adventures. It was just basically here's the background of the universe, which I did the whole entire thing, and they were helping with we build the background of the universe, and then they had their characters, and they were on a ship, and then every adventure, literally, I think it was like in the early 2000s, I had gotten this book of 100 space adventures.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, and it's like every time they just randomly roll percentile dice, and whatever that was the adventure I was going to run next time we played. So I'd come up with whatever the premise was and make it work, and they would just go on it. And it was it was hilarious because it really pressed my chops as far as making a cohesive story out of whatever this venue is, but the write-ups were pretty good and gave you a lot of options. So it was pretty easy to sort of just do that, but I didn't have to worry about, I'm building this overarching story thing. No. I'd like to do that. I'm like, no, it's just a random weird,
you can make a world that way though.
It was great. And that's history. You can, and that's the thing, is the history was kind of like this sort of weird, sort of building. And I did have another game, which I can't remember the name of it, that we used to do, like you could do worlds that way. we did a couple of those, just as a board game night. But I thought, you could really just do this as helping you build out your world for a particular game if you wanted to. And I think a lot of times when you do the cooperative world building, the players are more invested. Like even like I mean, there's that podcast. For now, I can't remember the name of it. I feel bad.
Was it Roll20 one of them or
no? It was when I did
There's
it.
So many.
Yes,
God, now I forget too. Yes. Oh my God.
Back to that.
Yeah, but
I feel bad. But I talked about doing the game, which called Our Town, which basically it started off that I had this plan for this game, and I said I'll let the players input a bunch of plugins at before I get it started, and they literally by their input they changed the nature of the game and how it was going to originally be. And it made it 10 times better. It ended up being, instead of being them being like remember Gold Sparrow, we're all knights and lords. They were all literally the NPCs. Like I'm the baker, he was the town guard, it was like someone who was the butcher, and it was a random farmer, and they were the ones who were going to save the day.
Oh my God.
And it worked out absolutely perfect. It was a great story, a lot of fun. And I really loved that game. And that was one that, just by letting the players build them. And I think I'm going to when I think about doing games for this group, I think I want to do a lot more of that too. Of just sort of like, okay, here's the basic scaffolding, but why don't you tell me what's here? What's that? What's this? What's this? Fill that in. So it's more yours. And then we go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, that is,
so it's almost like there's session 0, but this is like sessions before session 0.
I've heard that. I've heard that from a few like Dork Day where they let the people input stuff and then they becomes part of the character. Mm-hmm. And some of our recent people we've had on the podcast, and there's something to that to give your character some sort of ownership of it, like some sort of cool little thing. I can go either way. Sometimes it's fun, or sometimes you can give me something and I can run with it. Yeah. And the best example was playing first freaking Aliens when I just got the Marine Sergeant and I just took it over, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it was good." It was just it was so much fun. But then, like when I had like the Golden Sparrow characters, it's like you got to build it up and you add a history. You have a basic history. There's pros to both, I think. I guess it just depends on your playing style, right? I mean,
I think it depends on your playing style, because I think even that same Alien games, I wasn't able to continue playing. But when I was in it, it was like, you're an android and you like Charlie Chaplin, and we're going to go on. And then literally, I was like, okay, everything he said was like, most of what he said was just quotes from Charlie Chaplin, but no one knew. I wouldn't say it was just like make it sound as natural as possible, and just make it sound natural and make it sound like a thing, and just go. Yeah, and it was perfect, and no one knew. I was like, "This is exactly right."
Brought it up at the end, and it was like, "Oh my God, how do we?" Because we're too busy playing.
Yeah, like you're playing, they don't know. That's the thing. It's like
we could have continued playing those characters too, because we put so much into them, but they were so fucking bonkers. I don't know how long we will live. Actually, my character got his head blown off, so it's like I went to play the lieutenant after that. So
I was not the best android. I mean, I was better than David, I guess.
Oh, yes, you were. You were.
That's bad. Better. But I wasn't much better.
No, the best.
I was no bishop.
No, the best. You were no bishop. The best alien sellout corp was Tim at our Geek Weekend. Oh my gosh. He did the best. He did it so well, and it was so well that Chris shot him at the end. We were done. He still shot him. So, but anyway, on that bombshell, we're not saying you should shoot your co-players. We thank you all for joining us tonight in our talk about movies and gaming, and hope you enjoyed it. Next week Matt should be back, and I'm gonna see if we can talk about. We might jump into video gaming a little bit, like discuss that.
I might jump in, but I have nothing to say except for I probably haven't played that.
Okay, that's true.
That's fine.
But anyway, we'll try something. But anyway, everybody, good night. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.